Hello and welcome to the Negotiator channel. I am Sami Miettinen, your host, and I'm also director at Translink Corporate Finance. And by the way, pahoittelut suomenkielisille kuuntelijoille. Tämä on englantia koko jakso. I visited the Miami Directors Meeting in April 2023, and Finland is one of the 36 countries in the network, and we have closed over 8,000 deals within the network, and the increasing part of the deals are cross-border. Host of the event was Dinan Company, a very, very successful American M&A house, and it was founded by Mike Dinan, and I had the pleasure of discussing with Mike here. He goes through the success of the network, why it's great to have Finland in the network, and his passion for restoring classic cars. Okay, greetings from Miami Beach. I'm here with Mike Dinan, the founder of the Dinan Company, the Translink international partner in the USA. How has our conference been up to now?
I think it's been a great conference. We've had a lot of interaction between the different country offices. We actually invited our friends from the U.S. private equity community to join us and have one-on-one meetings with the bankers from those countries that they have an interest. And I think that's turned out to be a great aspect to this conference.
As Mike said, the conference had a host of very interesting Translink clients, both on the private equity and the industrial side. One of those gave an analysis of their relationship with Translink Corporate Finance, and that was the chairman of the CECOP, Ignacio Macias. And he received, after his conference, a couple of tombstones from our German partner, Andreas Hüchting. And it was great to hear his insights. Always trust the advisor, and then there was a great insights on how to build the trust, deal with the LOI, maybe play the waiting game, because it's only important that you close the deal, and it might look you lost the deal, but you had to go through the motions sometimes. Local customs matter in cross-border M&A deals. Often the deal is much more smooth if you can use your own language in dealing with the counterparties. A good advisor can do that for you. Then knowing the local rules, that's very important, and customs. For example, in the cross-border deal, which I will be discussing further, between the Brady Corporation of America and Nordic ID of Finland, the chairman is very important. Jorma Lalla bear a very high burden in communication and dealing with the matter. And this is not only a uniquely Finnish matter, but in the Finnish public takeover system, the chairman is the key person. And I was especially taken by one of the clients giving testimony, Ignacio, and he said that he has done a lot of deals with you guys, and he has spent more time with Mohit Mehta than his wife.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Actually, he has been a great client to work with. I think that here in the U.S., we've sold him 2 companies, and I think that the Translink counterparts in Germany have also sold him 2 companies. I think he's working on several other acquisitions, both here in the U.S. and through the Translink affiliates.
Yeah, and he was given 2 tombstones by the European partner. And we had a panel discussion with lots of the European heads discussing the cross-border deal. And you are, in my mind, you are very, very successful buy-side house with over 500 deals executed on that field. But now you're doing sell-sides and cross-border internationally. Tell me about a little bit about that.
That's correct. We're a 35-year-old firm for the first 20 some odd years. We were exclusively buy side, and then about 12 years ago, we created a sell side subsidiary. And then here, about 6 or 7 years ago, we affiliated with Translink to further expand our capabilities internationally.
Yeah, and then there was a great discussion on the panel that American cycle is a little bit perhaps ahead of the Europe, which is going down a little bit in cycle, and there was some hope that the American buyers, whether they're private equity or industrial, they could be really appreciated in Europe. Do you think that's right?
I think that's absolutely correct. And, just as a reference point, the private equity community here in the United States has $1.5 trillion of what they call dry powder. So they're under tremendous pressure to invest that. And I think that on the soft cycles is where their interest is really peaked. So I think that this is a great opportunity, certainly, for U.S. private equity to start to invest and continue to invest in Europe and elsewhere.
Yeah, and this takes place in Miami, but you are all over the country, East Coast, West Coast, and have a good roots with the Latin American people, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. Our firm has 4 offices in the United States, 1 in Asia, but obviously Translink allows us to make an international connection with extremely fine and capable investment bankers throughout the world.
Yeah, and a fun fact: Translink International, actually, the chairman is a Finnish person, Tero Nummenpää. So Finland is well represented among the 30+ countries we have in the network. But do you think Nordic countries could have a bit of an edge with the US now that Finland joined NATO and all that?
Finland has always been popular with Americans, but certainly that that can only enhance the relationship.
Yeah. Well, great talking to you with Mike, and just tell me a little bit about yourself. What makes you tick, and what kind of hobbies you have?
Well, business is my hobby. I love investment banking, love mergers and acquisitions. The deal business allows you to meet so many different successful people from so many different industries, and that's very rewarding. Aside from that, I guess a hobby of mine is restoring classic cars. We sit behind computers all day long, and it's refreshing and psychologically important to do something else. For me, I find that in getting my hands dirty, working on cars, doing something mechanical, where it's completely different from an investment banker's job.
What's your pride and joy? Which model?
I'm restoring a 1967 Corvette convertible right now, and I had always wanted one of those cars when I was growing up. So I was finally in a position to find one. Although rather than buy one that was completely restored, again to my earlier comment, I found one that was all there, but required the work. So that's a fun project. I think it's going to be my favorite.
Excellent, and I'm off to see the Panthers hopefully win the Boston Bruins here in the Miami Stadium. So that's the sort of ice hockey for us, Finland. Thanks for the interview, Mike, and great success.
Thank you so much.
It was great talking with Mike, and here is a bit more footage of the Panthers against the Bruins, which ended happily here. Sasha Barkov is giving an assist to a goal against the Bruins. And the Panthers went on to win that playoff series 4-3, and it was great being there with Juuso Marttinen to see one of those games. We did talk about hockey with Fredrik Ullberg, the Swedish managing director, who was in the conference. He has this amazing relationship with the MIS Group, which has executed a massive amount of buy and build transactions with the network on exclusive deal also in Finland. And he talks about that and the benefits of network. And we also work together in Suora broadcast, the company which streams all of the Finland's hockey. DMC in sports acquired the company in a deal backed by the Olsson family, known for the Stena Group. Hello, I'm here with Fredrik Ullberg, the managing partner of a Swedish office at Translink. Hello, how has the conference been with you?
So far, very good. I would say the best conference ever here in Miami.
Absolutely, and where the second last DM was in Stockholm, which was also excellent. But that's what we do. Translink is a network of over 30 independent investment banks, and now we're in the USA. And Sweden runs one of the most successful buy and build operation in the Translink history. What is that?
It's the Miss Group case that we have been assigned to do for the last 5 years. And we are really happy to have that client with us. Miss Group is backed today by a UK PE firm called Pervin. And so far we have done 21 acquisitions for them in the last 5 years, both in Sweden, but also mostly outside of Sweden. For example, Lithuania, Switzerland, Spain, and Finland and Norway.
Yeah, and it's great. You have renewed the Swedish Translink team quite a lot, and it's great working with you. One deal we did together was for the Stena family on the Suora broadcast and DMC in sport, and it was great working with you. Do you see many cross-border deals between Sweden and Finland coming?
Yeah, I would say, we have a good collaboration with you in Finland, and we like to work with you, and you have many good targets in Finland where we have Swedish buyers. So I would say that we will do many deals in the future together with you guys.
And another example of a great Finland-Sweden cooperation is the industry groups. Translink has a number of those. We are especially strong in the software and SaaS businesses, and now are branching out in doing transactions for companies utilizing the artificial intelligence. But in a more traditional front, we also work. Renta, an IG Partners-owned company, acquired almost simultaneously 2 companies, one in Finland, one in Sweden. Both sellers were represented by a Translink company. And in those kinds of situations, we'll build enormous industry knowledge and ability to serve customers in that construction services sector. And the final question here, I was a little bit jealous. There was a panel discussion, and Sweden got mentioned twice in the cross-border US-Sweden corridor, and you guys not even in NATO. What do you say about that?
No, it's like the same in the ice hockey, I guess, in Sweden and Finland. Sweden is a little bit better than Finland.
I disagree. Thanks for the interview, Fredrik. Then a couple of ideas on how to deal in the cross-border space. Finland, USA, as complemented by Mike Dinan, is a great match. One of the deals I was in charge was helping Nordic ID, the premier platform, RFID technologies and their data to be acquired in the public takeover by Brady Corporation of America. This was a great deal, first North Nasdaq transaction in Finland done in the public market. My tip in those processes, play it by the book. Actually, at that time there was no book, so we had to go through with the experience we had on the Translink network in doing international deals and following the Helsinki Takeover Code. As of 2022, however, First North companies are obliged to work with the Helsinki Takeover Code, so there's a very detailed timetable management which we can go through if you're interested how that happens. There seems to be quite a lot of takeovers in Nordic stock markets at the moment. Please get in touch if that is something you're interested in. Then there's a couple of ideas about the chairman-CEO dialogue. I interviewed Risto Siilasmaa, then the chairman of Nokia, when he was implementing the biggest takeover in the Finnish history, acquiring Alcatel-Lucent. And there he used a very precise communication through the CEO of Alcatel-Lucent to the board. I want you to take this offer to your board. So that's quite a interesting way to phrase quite a firm statement, which is not the ultimatum in a sort of negotiation sense. And then there's deals you can do when you're a listed company. For example, Translink Finland listed Tamtron, a successful Tampere-based company, and pretty much after the IPO, which generated over 10 million of proceeds, they acquired Lahti Precision, and on that one, now being a freshly listed company, they were able to utilize a directed share offering to partially finance the transaction. So there are great benefits in being a listed company, but then there's also this matter that you open for public takeovers when you listed. And if you're private equity owned or non-listed in other form, that's a different game. Anyways, it's been great being part of the Translink International M&A network, and we keep on doing more and more cross-border deals, and our client base is really expanding and benefiting from it. And in the end, a couple of slides shared by David Strempel, the partner in our Italy office, where he discusses the trend of the mid-market deals, which is huge, and split 3 ways between the Europe, North America, and the global East and South. As stated by everybody in the conference, now we're really getting the cross-border machine going, and our deal volumes are going up despite the market being down in 2023. So please get in touch with your local representative in the Translink network to discuss more on what we can do on the international M&A. Ja tosiaan kiitokset kuuntelijoille ja katselijoille, ja tosiaan mä nyt teen toisinaan näitä englanninkielisiä jaksoja. Katsotaan nyt miten tää toimii, pistäkäähän palautetta, toimiiko tää vai ei. Thanks everybody.